Spoilers and Fandom is like a book club for geeky stuff. Join us as we delve into the depth of our backlogs and sift through the games, comics, shows, movies, and books that we haven't checked out yet. Hey everyone, welcome back to Spoilers and Fandom. It has been a while.
Too long. Too.
And as you can tell, we're doing this remotely because there's, a certain virus that is plaguing the world, and it's gotten pretty bad here. So, we're doing it remotely. So the quality of the show might be a little off. But what to do?
Just roll with it.
If you're joining us for the first time, thank you. And today we are discussing the show Fargo Season 1. I am Hellsknight.
Hillary?
Yeah, and before we begin, the other shows that I've been watching, by the way, are My Little Pony. Yeah, I started watching My Little Pony. We had mentioned doing that after the Them's Fighting Herds
Them's
episode.
Fighting Herds, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The characters from that game are spot on exactly from the show.
MLP.
Yeah. The show so far, at least, I'm still early in. It's got like really good world building. It so far at least, it's definitely catered towards like kids, or specifically,
Okay.
I would say girls, young girls. But it's got really good world building. It's kind of fun to watch. I do like it. So I've been watching that. I've been watching Snowpiercer, which I'm kind of loving. I watched the first 100 episodes of One Piece, which is a lot better than I thought it would be. And what else did I watch? There's an anime called The Way of the House Husband.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's quite short. So those are the things that I watched besides Fargo.
Of the 5 of those things that you've watched,
Yeah.
which would you of which 3 would you recommend?
I'd recommend all of them. I'd say in terms
Like if you
of
had to pick in a pinch, like you have to pick 3 of those 5.
3 of those 5, and not including Fargo.
Not
I'd
in
say honestly, Snowpiercer is a lot more enjoyable than I thought it would be. I haven't finished season 1 of Snowpiercer, but so far I'm liking it. It's a bit like Altered Carbon.
I thought Snowpiercer was a movie, so I'm also surprised.
I think it is a movie and a book.
Oh, it's based on the movie of this. Okay, so the series is based on the.
I don't know anything about the book or the movie. I watched the show.
Okay, so
I've heard people say that it's not very good compared to the book and stuff, but like if you're just watching the show and you're fresh, I think it's pretty good so far.
okay.
Again, it has the potential
Okay,
to
fine.
get cringy, but yeah, it's quite good. I'd say
Cringy.
that, and God, One Piece has like the first 3 or 4 episodes of One Piece are arguably the worst. The worst intros to an anime in history, but like my God, that show is good and it has depth. I didn't expect that. This is my second time trying to watch One Piece. The first time I tried, I couldn't get past the 3rd episode. So, now I've gone to 100 because, yeah, it got good after that. I'd say if you like Avatar, like The Last Airbender, One Piece is up there with that. It has something very similar.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Snowpiercer, One Piece.
Yeah, there's 2. The other ones, like The Way of the House Husband
okay.
is like just haha, short thing.
Mhm.
And what else did I say?
My Little Pony.
Yeah, My Little Pony is just like, if you got like a few minutes, you can watch those. Yeah.
And Fargo,
Fargo, I would say
which is what we're here to discuss.
Yes, Fargo. Let's get into Fargo. So before watching, this was your pick.
Yeah, this was my
And,
pick.
Before watching this, it was strongly suggested that I watch the movie first. Even though they are 2 separate stories, I did watch the movie first, and you don't have to. I want to make that clear. You really don't have to. They tie in
Yeah, you actually do.
yeah, the tie-in is a very like small non-story. Well, not it's not really important to the story that's going on in the show. I'd say between the
Yeah.
two, I really preferred the show. And yeah, why did you pick Fargo?
Okay, I picked Fargo. Note, I also I hadn't seen the movie when I picked it, and I still haven't seen it. And I'm done with season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And people were telling me that I should have watched the movie at the end of season 1 to get bigger appreciation of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'll watch the movie now. Now that I'm done, let me see. Now that I'm done with season 2, I picked the show because I'm a fan of the Coen brothers, the guys who wrote the story of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of their writing, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the kind of things. Okay, the number one movie of theirs that No Country for.
You're
I like
cutting
these
out a
kinds
little
of.
bit. Sorry. The one movie was No Country for Old Men? Is that what you said?
Yes, yes. And the story style, the story of the way they do their movies, they're very slow, but
Mm-hmm.
the story builds up. It's one of those things that the story inevitably builds up into something bigger. The drama just adds on and adds on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're even though those brothers weren't a part of the show, that feel is definitely there
Yeah, yeah. They
with the
weren't they weren't directly involved in like shooting and directing
mm-hmm.
but their fingerprints are all over the show.
Yeah,
And it doesn't feel like a direct sequel to the movie.
yeah.
That's what guys are saying. It's not a direct sequel to the movie. It's more of this. These are other things that happened in the same way
Yeah.
from another point of view.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it definitely takes place after the movie. So in that sense, it's definitely like a sequel.
Well, yeah, yeah,
But yeah, it's like a different it's a different location, I guess, although some of the locations are shared.
yeah.
But
And
yeah,
even the
like
people. Okay, there's some people are the same. Some people are the same, but they're different.
mm, yeah, I read about that, but I can't for the life of me remember. There's one character who appears in the movie and the show. I cannot remember who that is.
I can't even. Yeah, I also can't remember. But I think
But
it's a cop or something. It's one of the cops.
one of the cops, yeah, maybe. Um, but anyway, oh, Billy Bob Thornton and Martin Freeman are like the male leads of this show.
Sure. Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton said that the Coen brothers actually gave this show their blessing, and they were like not even their blessing. They were kind of like fully on board with the show happening, because apparently like he wouldn't have done the movie if that sorry, he wouldn't have done the show if they hadn't given him they hadn't given the show like the go ahead because
The
they were apparently
blessing.
tight. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. So
And
yeah, so it is. I
and
think it's faithful.
it's yeah. It is okay. From what guys say, it is quite faithful.
Yeah.
And but going also by what you've just mentioned by the cast, it has a great cast.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about what this movie is and then talk about like the characters, right? Like so sorry, movie. I keep saying movie. Let's talk about what the show is and then go on
Uh-huh.
to talk about the cast cuz there's a bunch of explanations for what this movie is and I have my own as well.
So for what
Uh
the show is.
how would you explain what this movie is about without spoiling it?
Um, it's small town. It's about crimes that happen in small town Minnesota, and the drama that followed.
That's
If
I
yeah,
think
because I'm trying
that's
to give it as spoiler free, a spoiler free summary
yeah,
as much as I can.
yeah. See, the thing is, if I try and explain what the show is about, I feel like end up spoiling it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because there's
so
a lot of details. You'll end up wanting to explain because one thing leads to another, and it's what we were discussing earlier.
yeah,
The the show is really hard to describe because the things that happen are escalations of
yeah.
the situation. Yeah. And
Um,
if you go around trying to mention those specific things, you'll feel like you
Spoiling
won't
it.
be able to. Yeah, you'll feel like you're spoiling.
Do you remember what I told you before when you were watching the show? Would you consider that
Yeah.
a spoiler if I was to mention that here? Because I've
No, no,
been
no. I
like,
don't think that's a spoiler.
okay, so for me, yeah, I think this show is about like uh, a villain, the origin story of like a villain,
Hmm.
in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what the show is about rather than the crime stuff because wow. Like, I'd say it has a lot of similarities to shows like Breaking Bad. Uh,
Yes.
Even with like in fact, I think that Breaking Bad was influenced by the show. I'm pretty sure sure this show came first. Wow, that's hard to
Wait,
say.
when did Breaking Bad actually? Breaking Bad season 1 came out in 2008. This
Yeah,
came
so it came out after.
24. Yeah, this came out. But it does have a very strong bad. I get what you mean.
Yeah, and I think yeah, it's really well done. Honestly, yeah, this is I think one of the better shows that are out there. It's kind of odd that not many people have watched it. Um,
Yeah.
I think the pacing, at least for the first three episodes, is so slow. I was
Okay.
after watching the second episode, I really was like, I don't know, man. Like it was like a real struggle, but after that third episode, I was like, okay, I'm
Yeah,
sold
because I
now.
remember
Yeah.
I remember we spoke early on when I just wanted to check in and find out whether you found the show okay,
Yeah, and
how you were finding the show and all
I
that.
was like,
Yeah.
this show is hard. Then it got real easy after that third episode. Yeah, it is a real like the first three episodes are definitely slow, and I honestly think that if you are the type of person who doesn't like slow stuff, this might be tricky for you. Uh,
Yes.
Especially when you're getting used to the style of the way things are done. Because there's like a lot of small talk, and again with the acting and stuff, or not even the acting, the writing. There's very like they don't like it's not like today's TV standards where everything is just shouted to you about who a
Yeah.
character is. Like the character doesn't just I'm this and this and this and I did that. It's very subtle and it's like a slow burn for all the characters of who they are as in that world. So it's I find that really rewarding. But if that's not something you like, then I don't know. I think you'll find it a bit slow.
So let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Now that you're done with, okay, let's say like you're done with, you're halfway through this, you're halfway through done season 1 season. Do you feel that the
I've only watched
beginning,
season
those
one.
first 3 episodes,
Hmm.
oh, you haven't done season 2 yet?
No, just season one.
Okay, fine. Oh wait, I thought we were doing season 1 and 2.
No, we're just doing season one.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Cool. I'm over prepared then.
Yo, wow.
So now that you finished season 1,
Right.
do you feel that the pacing for the first 3 episodes was fine, or would you still wish for a more action-packed first three beginning to the show?
Yeah, I do. There are some moments where, because like I think in the first three episodes, it's really hard to tell what the show is about. Like you
Ah,
really
yeah, yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what the show is about in the first three episodes. Well, I'd
Yeah,
say in
because
the
a lot
third
of guys aren't
episode,
even established.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say in the third episode you start getting a sense of what the show is about. But like till then you have no idea where the show is going. So, like, it could have gone any way, to be honest. Like, it could have just been, man, it could have just turned into a romantic comedy at one point. Like, you don't know.
which it does have later on. Okay, in
Yeah.
my opinion, I feel like it has things. It's a slice of life show. I feel like it's a slice of life
Yeah, kind
because
of.
dude, like the characters develop so naturally. Like you
Yes.
won't think that, oh, this is romance. No, it's normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very it is like the humor is very, I would say, like in terms of humor, it's very like normal humor, not like comedy where it's like
Yeah,
a
it's not
bunch of
a
jokes.
it
It's
doesn't
like
have
just,
jokes or
yeah.
one-liners. It's yeah.
It's more like, yeah, it's a natural. Yeah. The way you described it as
And
natural is the way most of the tone is as well.
yeah.
Um
And for me, the reason why I liked that because now when you put that against now the action, when the action does come through, the action hits really really hard because of that contrast, because of how normal the show is.
yep.
When things now start moving, when things start happening,
Yep.
yo, things hit hard.
Yep. Yeah, the action moments are, yeah, quite nuts compared to the pacing. So it's kind of weird. Like, this is, I can't think of a show that is like this, oddly enough.
TV
Like I
show.
yeah, like I can compare it to Breaking Bad for like a very specific kind of way in terms of like the building of tension and that
The
kind of
feel of
thing.
it and all that stuff.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
the way certain characters develop and how certain characters get stressed and that kind of stuff. That there's like a lot of similarities with that, as well as even like, you could even say the cinematography is, well, it's different.
Yeah, but it's
They do similar
similar.
things. Yeah, they do similar things, but like I wouldn't call them similar in the sense like in terms of like story.
Oh no 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 no.
Yeah.
Story they're totally different, but there's I think it's stylistically they have a similar style.
Yeah.
I guess it's also because they're both the content of the show is Middletown, nowhere America, and
Yeah.
the goings on of normal guys in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the show is just very unique. I will say also though, in terms of like gore, while it is not as gory as a lot of stuff out there, there is a bit of gore, and so if you are squeamish, this isn't for you. If you've watched the movie, uh,
Yeah.
well,
Then
that's pretty gory what happens in that movie. The scene that everyone knows in the movie. This isn't at that level, but it's kind of similar.
I don't know
So,
what you're talking about, but okay.
um, I'll tell you in the
No, it's
spoiler
fine. It's fine.
section.
It's fine. No, no, no. Don't tell me. Don't tell
No,
me.
just
Let me find
like
out.
I'm still struggling as to whether I could recommend this to my mom, because like in terms of like the type of show this is so up my mom's alley. In terms of like a crime kind of thriller thing, like I think she'd love it, but like the level of gore is something that would
Is
put her
what's
off.
questioning.
Yeah, that would stop me from recommending it to her.
Yeah, my bro is the one who recommended the show to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've never seen the show, never seen the movie, but he knows that I'm a fan of these kinds of thrillers
Hmm.
where there's serial escalation, where you start off at a very normal situation,
Hmm.
but by the end of the movie, everybody is out of their element and stressed, and you're just trying to figure out how is this going to end.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Good pick, I guess. In terms of the cast, everyone was such a good character, like such a good actor. Literally everyone was a good actor.
Yeah. This
I
was like almost perfect casting.
Yeah, I can't think of a single bad actor in this whole entire show. It was done really well, and even the character choice. Like, who is your favorite character?
Season one, of course, it's gonna be what's her name, Molly.
Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Molly was
For me, I
awesome.
love. Yeah, because you could see you. Okay, yeah. Molly is for me is she's the main character. She's the main person for
Yeah,
the
she's
season.
the
Her and
protagonist of the
Gus.
show. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's the
But I
protagonist.
also really did like Billy Bob Thornton's character.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man.
But for me, it was always Molly because I kept on cheering for her to. I wanted her to get Billy. I wanted her to get Lon at
Yeah,
the end of the show.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She was great. I loved her depiction of her department was just too funny. I watched like the first couple of episodes with my wife, and she was just screaming at how dumb the officers in her who she works with are.
Yeah. And it feels so
It feels quite,
familiar to me.
yeah, it feels quite real.
So that's why for me, I think I gravitated a lot towards her.
Yeah, she's really cool. Um, yeah, even man, Lester. I guess like so if we have like Molly's character on one end, Billy Bob's character on the other hand, and Lester's in the middle, right?
Yes.
Kind of, but more
Yeah.
towards like Billy Bob, I guess. Um,
Because they end up
yeah, he moves from
having
one
their
end to
own
the other.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
like I think Lester's character development and his acting was just amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I think like I don't know if these guys I should have checked this, but I don't know if these guys won awards, but like I think the level of acting in this was just incredible. And I think it was better than the movie by a mile, man.
Yes. Okay, I don't know about the movie, but the thing that really stuck out for me during the show was a lot of these actors are both. You'll get a lot of film actors. Like the main characters are, let's say, mostly film actors. Because it's
Mhm.
Billy Bob Thornton, Colin Hanks, Martin Freeman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So get this
But
for I think it's for Molly's character. I could be
uh
wrong, but I believe it's Molly's character. Her
yeah,
actor, she only did a
yeah,
few commercials, and she did
uh-huh.
stand-up stuff like at a bar, like bar performances. That was
What?
it. That was it. And then she did Fargo, and that was like her biggest gig.
And she did, but you're actually right. She did win awards because she won Best Actress. She won an Emmy for Best Actress and a Gold.
Wow.
Oh wait, no, sorry. She won nominations. She got Emmy and Golden
What
Globe
was her name?
nominations, but she won a Critics' Choice Awards.
What was the actress's name?
Her name is Alison Tolman.
I think that was her then. Yeah, she just Fargo was her first like major gig.
But even in the show, now all the other characters, like you'll get a good mix of
Mhm.
film actors
Mhm.
and comedians and TV show actors. Because
Yeah.
even as other members of the cast are like Key and Peele were in this. Mr. Numbers
Yeah.
is a comedian. He's a Adam Goldberg. Yeah, he's a comedian, but he's also been in movies. Okay, he's not a yeah. He's been in funny movies. I don't want to say his,
Mhm.
but like it's different catching some of these guys in different roles. Because like Martin Freeman was Frodo Baggins, but now here he's a shitty guy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize that
Mm,
until honestly I read the names of who the actors were and what they had been in. I was like, "Oh,
mhm.
crap. Really?"
That there's that guy.
I was like, "What?" And then I'm watching like an interview of his and I'm like, "He's British?" Like you don't get like he's like they did the accents so well that like they were different people to me completely.
Yeah,
I can't recognize people by faces. So like like they he did well.
Yeah, they
Uh,
did. They really did do the accent right. Because I even read somewhere that they all went for. I think they went for dialect coaches.
wow, yeah.
And there's specific things that these guys do with that Minnesota accent.
Yeah.
That these, you know, the way that we, okay, for us being from Kenya, we get these things as jokes, as humor, like stand-up comedy from guys from America. That guys in Minnesota always say specific things, or they have a weird accent.
Mm-hmm.
Then you start noticing those things in their speech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think it's really well done.
yeah.
I also want to shout out to, in terms of the just like, did you like the soundtrack for this show is so bloody good. In
Yeah, that's
terms of,
another thing guys have mentioned. Yes.
oh, people did mention that.
No, guys
everyone
have
is
mentioned it. Guys have
okay.
mentioned.
It's so well done in terms of like what's going on, and it's trying to elevate like what's about to happen. Like it's so fundamentally like like it's masterfully done. It's really really like goes beyond any
Yeah.
like movie, especially because of the slow pace. You know when you're hearing this tone, what it means. Like when you're hearing a specific song being played, it builds that association to what's going on and stuff. And so whenever you hear that, you know what's about to happen. It's so good, and it's so well done. It's a brilliant soundtrack. I didn't want to forget that
Yes,
point.
it
I
is.
actually wrote that in the notes. Like the soundtrack is just like even right now, even though I watched the show like ages ago, um, like if I hear that soundtrack, I'm like, oh, this is what just happened. Like
Snaps you back. Yeah, it snaps
yeah,
you back. It locks you
instantly,
in the moment.
instantly. It's so well
Yeah.
done. Um, I think it's brilliant, and I think season one it has like a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. It does end, right? Uh,
Yes.
I
Yes.
I I haven't watched season two, but I don't believe it continues after season two. Are you happy with the way season one ended?
Yes. But I'm also I'm also weird because I'm okay with stories just end. And it's a big theme with Coen Brothers stories because they make a big point of explaining. They make a big point of trying to explain to the viewer that sometimes things just happen.
And it
You
ends.
you
Yeah.
don't have answers for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just roll with it.
Yeah.
Like I really want to see, like, okay, there's something that happened in the middle of season that
In season what?
I don't want to say, yeah, in season one,
Uh huh.
that I don't want to say is a spoiler, but there's a time skip in season one.
Yeah. That's. I don't think
And
that's a spoiler. Yeah.
yeah, and it happens roughly midway through the season. But that time skip feels, that's maybe one things I didn't, because for me it snapped me out a bit. But then I realized why they needed to that space, because the
I
story you just, yeah.
I really loved it actually.
What?
Yeah. You know, in terms of like the way you're talking about the way things are natural seeming and stuff.
Yeah.
For me, that added like because there was that time skip. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. That means like not a lot has happened in this much time. There's been like no progress, like just a wall.
Yeah.
Is how I took that. I'm like, that's so realistic, especially like here when things are trying to get something done. You wait like
And there's just
a
nothing that
year
can happen.
later.
You have to
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
Yeah.
It really brought me in actually.
Yeah. Now for me,
Yeah,
that's when I learned that lesson. That's when I had to remind myself, oh yeah, it's these guys. Yeah, you just wait, just chill.
yeah.
Because I was getting frustrated at that point. I'm like, why are you time skipping a year into a story that's already this? I don't want to say
This
slow, but
this
this
intense.
paced, this long paced.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah,
look, one episode is a full hour, like a full hour.
Exactly. So in my head, I'm like, yo, give me more, give me more, give me more.
Yeah,
I need all this to reach that apex. I'm trying to chase that drive. I'm
yeah,
trying to chase that thrill. Sorry.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I
But
get
then
that.
now
Yeah.
you get your feeling of, oh no no no, it's a year later, dude, chill. The story is coming.
Yeah, for me, it really
Yeah.
brought me in. I was just worried that they would just because so the this isn't really a spoiler, but like this the whole tone and well, not really tone, the feel of the way all the scenes are shot and stuff is there's like a bit of randomness that happens in every scene. For example, like there's like something serious that's going on, but what did you eat for breakfast?
Ah yeah
You know,
yeah.
like there's a lot of that throughout this show, as well as even the movie that carries forward. So when that time skip happened, I did kind of I mean, is this a spoiler? There's one thing that worried me with the
No.
time skip. I'll say that there is one thing that worried me with the time skip, but it wasn't like it wasn't the time skip itself. It was more like the randomness kind of scared me. The randomness of the show's script worried me a little, but yeah, it paid off. I'd say it paid off.
Now, if you will, let me take you back to the characters for a bit.
Uh huh.
If you did you mention your favorite? If you had one.
Oh, I really liked Billy Bob's character and Molly's dad
Oh.
actually.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Even for me, Molly's dad was huge. I really liked him,
Yeah, his role was pretty small, in terms
but
of
it
like
was solid.
the screen time, but he has that dude has a presence, and I
Now, I
think
don't want
yeah,
this to come out. Okay, sorry. You think? You think? Sorry.
I was gonna say one of my favorite scenes was I was gonna be pretty specific, but I'll save that for the spoiler section. But like I really like that guy's character, Molly's dad.
If you no, why not, dude? You could be a bit be
Be specific.
be
It's a
yeah,
very
be
specific
specific. Why
scene.
not?
It's a very specific
Yeah,
scene. Uh, okay, when his character meets Billy Bob's character,
I figured. Yeah, that's the same place even me. I read
because
in
I
the
was
section.
like, this guy, and it again it does this thing with it doesn't tell you anything about his character. It's just like it's very subtle that you get to know these characters like in very subtle ways, like in very natural ways. Like in real life, you don't just meet someone and well, you kind of do. But it's kind of weird when you meet someone and they just basically tell you that they're a complete asshole or they're completely nice and they'll like you get all this information about them normally in movies like when you're introduced to a character, this person is
Yeah,
this way and this way and this way.
established. Yeah,
Yeah, it's never like a normal person who you are trying to get like who they are, and as the more you see them, the more you get to know them, kind of thing. It really has that feel, and I really like that in this show. It's really well done,
yeah.
and especially with like Molly's dad is there in such few scenes, and has so much charisma, man. That guy is dope,
Yes.
and he's very 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 like small amount of time. Um, and I like Billy Bob's character as well because he's just. I mean, you could say that he was an actor as well.
Yeah.
Gosh, we haven't actually talked about the plot in terms of
We did.
specifics. We mentioned it
We
was a
have, but we
crime.
can't without. Yeah, but we
Uh,
can. We can we without the without saying without giving a spoiler.
we can give. So I can say Lester's character. I'd say the show kind of revolves around Lester, as like its central focus, though he's not the only main character. But we can say that he's like a nobody, and after meeting Billy Bob Thornton's character, who is a hitman, things happen. That's what I'll say. Things happen that aren't necessarily good for him, and things just kind of spiral. That's what I'd say, because that's all within the first half hour
And
of the show.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
and in terms of crime and stuff. I also do think the less you know about like what happens after that, the better.
The better it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for
This.
me,
Yeah.
season in episode one,
Mhm.
there's a specific conversation in episode one
Mhm.
that for me that's what locked me into the show.
The one with Lester and the hitman.
Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the diner. Yeah.
At the
Wait.
diner where they talk about.
Wait. Was that at the diner? Was that in the first episode or the second?
It wasn't the first episode. I don't know if it was at the diner where they talk about apes.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. That's the
That
clip.
the
That.
ape conversation
Yeah.
got me.
That.
That's when I was locked into the show and I was like, fine, I'm in this all the way.
For me, it was when they met for the first time in the hospital room. He's like, yeah. It's so like blah. Like, okay.
At that point, I still hadn't fingered. I still couldn't put a finger on who Billy Bob was and what he wanted. Like he was still a question mark at that point. So
Yeah.
for me, I was like, okay, this is fun.
He
but,
was, yeah.
Okay, let's see where this goes. Let's
Yeah.
see where this goes.
Yep. It was a big question mark. Yeah, I actually thought he was a good guy. Not gonna lie.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
isn't he
was a
though?
good guy. No.
Isn't he?
He is not. He's not a good guy.
He just happens to kill guys. But beyond that, he's an agent for change.
We'll talk about
He's
this.
helped Lester. He's helped Lester. He's a good man. I still think that he's a good man who. Anyway, we'll discuss
boy.
this. In the
We're talking. We're getting you some help as well. We'll talk about that in the spoiler section. Let me look at my notes. Soundtrack. Oh, this thing has a ton of symbolism. The entire show has a ton of symbolism. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
It all flew over my head. I think.
Uh-huh.
There's stuff to do with the color choices. For example, with Lester's choice of fashion, related to things that are in the world. There's stuff to do with that's very biblical in a sense, as well, and like a lot of metaphors that go on throughout the show. If you're into that kind of stuff, I think there's a lot for you to analyze here. For me personally, most of it flew over my head, but I still loved it though.
I guess it's because of the source material. There's a lot of detail that the Coens do, but now the guy who wrote the show, Noah Hawley, he's a pal of, he worked very closely with them, and when they gave the blessing for him to do the show, it's I guess a lot of their DNA flew into the characters in the show as well.
Yeah.
That's why I kinda want you to see. Have you seen No Country for Old Men?
No.
I really want you to see that
Okay. I'll add it to the list.
because there's a lot of you see now those what you mentioned about the themes and stuff coming back.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of symbolism and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It carries across the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so the stuff that if you've watched like maybe 2 or 3 of the movies, there's some stylistic devices that they do. There's some choices that they make that reinforce certain things. So you'll start being receptive to them as you go.
Ah, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we can really talk about with this show without like going into specifics, and there are a lot of specifics to get into. Was there anything you wanted to add without spoilers?
Without spoilers is good.
Okay, like
because now everything is just I think we've covered most of what we can with.
Yeah. How would you rate this?
8.5, 9.
Yeah, me too. This was.
And season 2 is better.
What, really?
It's different, but it's different, but it's just as interesting.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, this show is a very easy 8. the it not being 9 is like I think if just that pacing would have been better for the first 3 episodes, that would have really helped. I think. I'll put it this way, like honestly, and this is a problem with me clearly, because like if it weren't for doing it for this show, it's very likely I would have dropped this show because of how
By
slow.
episode 3.
Yeah, because of how slow it was moving, there's a very good chance I would have dropped it.
What? Okay.
Yeah, it was slow. It was really hard. Those first
Okay,
two
yeah, it was
episodes
slow.
were hard. The third one kind of got me back in, but man,
Hmm.
the first two with the just building up the characters, you have no idea what the show is about. You've basically spent 2 hours, right? You've spent 2 hours watching a thing, and you don't know what's going on and what this is, where this is going, and what it's about. Like
Yeah.
when I put it that way, that kind of is a knock a bit against the show. But like I will say, if you stick with it, man, it's good.
Yes.
Yeah. But I wish that if it just had a little more of a hook, at least in the second episode, just a bigger hook, to get me to watch, to make sure that I'm stuck, like sticking with the show. That would have been a 9 for me then, if it had that. Or like just improve the pacing, I guess, of the first two.
Because even for me, okay, I don't know. If I had to, if my okay, the criticisms, let's say like I would have of the show. Yeah, you're right. At some point, if in the beginning, in episode 1 and 2, they really, it would have been better maybe if they brought in a bit more action, lock us in. But by the end of it, if you can stick through 1, 2, and 3, you'll really love the show.
Yeah. If you can, yeah. If you get past 3, you're golden,
Yeah.
I think.
Because
And
even
it is
episode 1
it
is
is
interesting. It's just that, let's say, it's slow.
yeah, and
So
you don't
just stick with it.
yeah, and you don't know where it's going. But
Mm.
it's really really worth your time, I think. Well, I don't think. I know this is man, this show is brilliant. I did like it a lot.
Would it get into your with season 1 anywhere within your top 10 shows of all time?
Yes.
Mm.
Straight up, yes. Yeah. It is definitely in my top 10 shows.
And which other show is in your top 10 shows of? If I
I
could ask
haven't
your number
made it.
1 show,
I don't know. I haven't made that list. But if I had,
just think of one other show, just one other show that you could recommend alongside this, so you know how good
they're
this is.
different, man. I got weird taste. I'd say, man, I got weird taste, man. What is the best show I've ever watched? This is gonna lead to some thinking, man. I have to give this some thought. We could do a whole show
We
on
can even
this.
post it. Yeah,
we
we'll
could,
do
we
it.
could do
We'll
our
do a
top 10
different show.
shows of all time. I'll give it a serious think. But this is definitely on that.
Okay. Because for me, one of my top 10 shows is The Sopranos,
I never
and
finished
I'd
it.
easily recommend this.
Yeah.
Season 1 of The Sopranos and season 1 of this, I'll easily recommend either one.
Yeah,
They're fantastic shows.
man, I never got to finish The Sopranos. I think I reached season 3 or 4. And then I didn't have a... This was before the internet.
Yeah, we didn't have, at that point, we didn't have
yeah,
access to
my
getting
friend
these
had...
things.
Yeah, my friend had the DVD box set, and they wanted it back after a while. I had it for quite long. And I only managed to get up to, like, season 3 or 4. I had to give it back after that, and never got to watch it.
If you're up for it, we could start from season 5. Because I really don't mind
I'd love
rewatching
to.
the Sopranos.
I'd need to rewatch it because I don't remember a lot of what was going on in that show.
Like,
It was ages ago when I watched that.
my top 10 shows of all time, weirdly, Friends is there. But
Yeah,
that's
Friends
only
is good.
because I've rewatched Friends like 5 times.
Yeah,
Like end to end, beginning to end.
Friends is very rewatchable. You can just
Yeah.
walk in. And I think that's really good for a show for you just to be able to just walk in at any point and still enjoy it.
The only show that I can say that I've been able to watch the same way as Friends and is The Sopranos and this. Because like right before we started this the podcast, I was rewatching episode 4.
Of Sopranos? Or
Oh,
this?
Fargo.
Of Fargo, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there is rewatchability in this show as well. If you want to get the symbolism and like some of the subtle gosh, there are subtle hints. Everything goes back to Erickson, I swear. Everything leads back to Steven Erickson.
How so? How so?
There are certain subtle hints, but you know, like when you're watching the show the first time,
Yeah.
not like, for example, that ape conversation that you were talking about. I didn't care too much about that conversation, but now knowing what happens after, that conversation makes a lot more sense into understanding who that character is and what he is. Like now, you rewatching it, knowing what you know about this guy, it gives you a bit more depth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is like a bit of rewatchability in the show as well. Like it's weird.
So for me, I find it so amazing. Like season episode 3. Yeah. Anyway, let me not get into this, but I really like. Yeah, you can rewatch season 1. You can rewatch this show,
Yeah. Worth your time,
and the
man.
fact that it's also so slow paced also gives you time to forget it and rewatch it with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we give it our like super thumbs up. And
100%.
yeah. If you want us to, if you want to know, like we're still getting used to recording remotely, but if you want to know like about the specifics, we're about to talk about the spoilers for the show. Very, very specific. Very specific, sorry. Join us for that episode.
Yeah.
If you want to join us for what movie we're doing next, you're picking.
Yes, I've picked Knives Out. I haven't seen it.
Fair enough.
And it's been on my list for a while. It's just been on my list for a while, and I just haven't.
It's got a cool name.
And no, maybe the reason is I like the cast.
Okay. Who's in it?
Daniel Craig,
Oh,
Bond, Chris Evans, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon,
I don't know who those other guys are, but yeah.
Don
okay.
Johnson. Yeah,
Wow.
it's got a good cast.
Knives Out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, join us for that. I'm Hellsknight,
Hillary,
and thanks for listening. See ya. Have
thanks
fun.
for listening. See you.
Do you have an opinion on what we just discussed? Did we miss something? Tell us in the comments section and we'll read it in the next episode. If you're listening on Anchor, send us a voice message and we'll add it to this episode. Don't forget to follow our podcast on Twitter @SpoilFans for updates, and follow our Instagram for behind the scenes action @SpoilersandFandom. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube and Anchor to get the latest episodes.